Welcome to the Olentangy Orange 2020 Wrestling Banquet. This is a season of firsts. Clearly, this is our first virtual banquet. Um, this is our first year with our own all-girls wrestling team. We fielded a team that finished as state runners-up as a all-female team. We had our first female state wrestling champion who was crowned. We had 6 females who were all state wrestlers. On the boys' side, we had multiple placers at the prestigious Medina Wrestling Tournament. We qualified 8 wrestlers to the district wrestling tournament and took second as a team at the toughest sectional this year. When we were able to do this when we lost 2 state qualifiers and lost 2 3-year starters to injury. We had a state alternate and 2 district placers on the boys' side, and we had to turn the blood round at the district tournament into an annual opportunity, which not long ago was the case. I want to do some thank yous. Thank you to the parents. All this does not happen without you. Driving your kids to the school at all hours of the day and night for workouts, buses, opportunities to get a workout in. Thank you from all of us. Thank you to the administration, Mr. Smith, Ms. Hart, Mr. Battistone, Mr. Young, Mr. Deal, and Ms. Bleedorn. Without the support of this awesome administrative team, we would not be able to do the things that we did as a program this year. Thank you to the spouses of all the coaches staff. All of our families make sacrifices during the wrestling season. So thank you to the significant others that allow us as a coaching staff to help better these young people. Thank you to my wife, who always allows me to coach during wrestling season and always is unrelenting in busting my chops throughout wrestling season as well. And thank you at most to the coaching staff. None of the accomplishments would have happened without these 5 wonderful people. They care about your kids, they work with them, they push them to their limit to get the most out of them. This group takes time away from their kids, significant others, friends, family, to help these young people become the best versions of themselves. So thank you. At this time, I would like to bring Coach Oswalt and Coach Nicola to discuss the varsity girls wrestling team.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. By the time this gets to you, it's going to have lots of fun stuff for us to share with you about the season. Coach Oswalt, you want to give a little bit of a recap on some of the things that you were excited about from this year?
Yes. So I want to get started with, first of all, thanking the parents for trusting us as their coaches with their kids. These kids are amazing, so thank you for that. And I also want to thank the boys on the team. Thank you for accepting the females in the wrestling room and welcoming them. That really made a big difference to this program running so smoothly. I'd also like to thank all of you coaches for welcoming me in as your family as well. New to Orange, so I appreciate it. Nicola, I'd like to give a thank you to you for bringing me in and being a part of this fairy tale, this dream, and this family. I'd like to recap the girls' season a little bit. I could not have asked for a better group of girls. When it was practice time, you knew it was time to work hard, and you ladies worked your butts off. I'm impressed by your dedication, your love for the sport that I'm able to share with you. From summer open mats to the first practice, Miami East duel, Saturday brunches, and to the end with you girls taking home the second place as a team. I'm honored to have been your coach and to lead you through this roller coaster of emotions, and we are family. Remember, we have only just begun. So then do you want me to go ahead and start off with the girls, or do you want to talk, Nicole?
Yeah, let me just give a quick once over. I do want to thank the coaching staff again. What's great is I've knew Coach Tressler for many years since he came over to Orange, and of course, Coach Ray, having been Coach Ray with youth and getting known through youth, and his son, and Coach Knapp up there in the corner, cutting all the weight for me years ago, and Coach Daugherty being one of the true goats with his mullet, if you haven't seen it, and getting him on board late. And Coach Oswalt, I knew her when she was in high school wrestling and hanging out with some girls that were on my team, and being able to get her on board with the girls. It's been a pretty exciting season, and I've said this many times. I didn't think I would ever coach again, and it's pretty much been one of the most fun years I've ever had around the sport, wrestling or coaching. Some of the things that happened this year that I think were exciting about the team. We went out to Miami East and beat them in a duel in a pretty much a packed gym, which was, I could never have imagined that would be something. It was unreal. We took second in our home tournament and first at Bell Fountain, both of those losing to and beating Miami East, who, you know, they're our rival. And how lucky are we in our very first year to get a rival that has so much mutual something already.
Just disdain.
On both sides. It's exciting and it's fun. And what a lucky group we are to have that so early in the process. And then to finish second in the state, it was a pretty powerful night. The things that I remember the most is just how quickly the girls dialed into the idea of culture. It was really just a week into school where there wasn't a single wrestler that didn't have her sweats tucked into her socks, or started to ask about weight classes, or refused to wear their headgear in practice. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. And all those necessarily aren't great things. They are definitely a wrestling culture. And it was, again, thanks to the guys for being open to that, and putting 21 more athletes in the room, and really just, again, thanks to the staff, thanks to my wife, who's thought she was done and she's not. I'm back, and my kids, who I asked my kids straight up for the season, do you care if I coach? And both of them were like, you got to do it, man. Let's do it. Maybe they just wanted me out of their face. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. Coach, do you want to talk about yours, the athletes that you're going to talk about?
Yes, I will go ahead and read my little notes that I have. So first I've got Augustine. You had a rough start to this season, battling a concussion. Luckily, we were able to get you back to healthy and get you some matches in. You're tough and extremely talented, and we look forward to your future. Macy, you started this year pretty timid in matches, but as soon as the season continued, you gained more confidence and were able to attack in matches. I love your fight. Emily, I remember you coming out for open mats last summer because you were one of the smallest females. We went live in a match and you grabbed my wrist and threw my arm for a takedown. And I looked at Nicola and I said, this girl is strong. And his response, she's a tuba player. And you definitely surprised me. And so glad you decided to come back and finish the season. You're going to be tough next year. Right. And Natalia, you came out and were very sweet. And once that whistle blew, you were ready to rip a girl's head off. You ended the season making the first all-Metro team. And I'm excited for you to go back to Spain and wrestle with the women's team there. You're such a sweet person. And we have to find a field trip. That way we can go visit you in Spain. We'll miss you, girl, and be safe. And I got Talia. This young buck here, she is extremely strong, let me tell you. I was demonstrating a breakdown from referee position, and she felt like a brick house. You were wrestling tough all season, and then we ran into some stiff competition at the beginning of the girls' state tournament, and that first match, which made it hard to bounce back. You're young, and I can tell you're determined. And all I can say is keep working hard, and next year we'll get you to the top of that podium. You also made the all-Metro team, and like I've said, keep working hard, and we'll get you there, Talia. With Christy, you are a leader. You lead by example. Words cannot express how proud I am of you. No matter what, you worked while encouraging those around you, while asking, what can you do and how can you help others in the room? I'm going to miss you to pieces. You are always welcome back into the room. And I want to wish you luck at Emory. To Alyssa, first time watching you in practice, I knew you were going to be tough. I saw you wrestle in preseason tournament and knew this was your sport. You fought your way back through one of the toughest weight classes without showing fear. I wish every girl had your heart. You have been an amazing leader to this team. Now let's see if we can get that team at OSU started. This is to Noel. After the first practice that we had with you over summer, I wasn't sure if you would come back again. I could tell you're a natural athlete, but was getting frustrated because this wasn't coming natural to you. But you came back. You worked your butt off every single day. You set your mind to that podium at Girls State and fought your way through. All that blood, sweat, and tears, placing fourth. That is not a failure. That is an accomplishment. I will continue to tell you that. On a side note, I still feel bad for making you think the whole team had to do sprints for every minute you were late when you overslept that hour at practice. Sorry, love you. And to Taryn, I could tell the season started, when the season started, you hit a wall, right? And you were going in every which direction. And from being on a different team last year to a new team this year, and to having a team of completely inexperienced wrestlers join, and you took that captain role, and you were still trying to figure out yourself. Once you were able to focus on you and you felt comfortable in your leadership role, you were really able to take off. You were unstoppable. Prior to the girls' state, you beat the current state champs surrounding your weight class. You were able to bring home, or you were able to help your team build the first ever girls team at Olentangy Orange, and one of the biggest in the state this year. And with that being said, you were able to help this team become state runners up while doing yourself and focusing on yourself and being able to win that state title as well. Where you've got a target on your back for being a state champ. Keep your focus and continue to work hard. Something that I want to end my part here is, this is a little bit for all the kids, and be who you want to be remembered for. So I'm going to end with that.
Okay, cool. So,
Job, Coach.
all right, thanks, Coach. Hey, real quick before I jump into my girls, we got these really cool things coming for you. Everybody that was on the team will get a patch that shows that says girls state runner up. There will also be a banner in the gym that says girls state runner up, and Taryn's name will be up in the gym. And I'll let Coach Tress, when he gets up to him, he can talk about kind of the wrestling room and some cool things. All the individual placers will get something that designates their placer. So if you want to go old school with the letter jacket, we had our letter jackets on like a half hour ago, but we decided not to wear them. So I'm going to start talking, and I'm going to go into some of the girls here. I'll go by grade. Okay. First, let me talk about, I'll start with the seniors. Jolie Carroll. Jolie joined the squad a little late, and she really shined for us. You know, she came out and she made 101, which was not a super easy cut. And it was with her and Emily kind of holding that spot down and competed. She just competed so hard there and got better every week. And it was, you know, really a treat. I felt like she wrestled outstanding at the Bell Fountain tournament and looked great when we went up to Alliance. And that was, I think, her first time down. She might have been at 106 for that, but just battled and battled. She's going to go to C-State for her first year or two and do law enforcement. And I do know that next year she does help coach, work with our girls middle school club team that we're going to try to get started next winter. So really excited to have Jolie. You can tell she's someone that loves the sport for having such a short time in it. Anna Grabow. I had Anna in class 2 years ago, and she's a senior who started working out last May with us and ultimately made a pretty tough choice to join us full-time with wrestling and leave basketball that she'd played since she was a kid. And a very talented basketball player, and she showed for us this year. She finished 18-5 with her only losses coming to the top finalists at her weight. Her 5 losses were to 2 girls, both who finished first and second, 3 to the champ, 2 to the runner-up. She loves to train and compete. She's a battler. She finished 3rd in the state again, 17 pins out of her 18 wins. The other one was a forfeit. She's asked I asked her to coach me a one-on-one basketball game the last week before we got sent home, and she came in dressed like Summit with a clipboard and was very disappointed in my effort, but it reminded me what a battler and a competitor she is. She was also all Metro for us, Ohio State next fall, majoring in business, and hopefully maybe competing for a women's team if they add it at some point. That's Anna Grabow. Paulette Vasquez. Paulette never did a sport, but she quickly embraced the culture of the sport. As I was kind of writing down things about our girl Paulette, I was thinking about, like, when you watch her in practice learn moves, she did not look like somebody that had never done a sport. She was intuitive. She was thoughtful. She asked questions. She conveyed what she needed to well. And it really shows you what kind of person she's going to be as she goes into the world. She got her first win at Bellefontaine this year, and I looked across the mat, and I said, I think Paulette's up. And the points just kept pouring on. She just kept pouring it on, the girl from Delaware, and ended up with that win. A talented vocal legend. I know she tried out for the day before state tournament, she had 4 auditions the 2 days before for vocal programs across the state. I believe it was narrowed down to Bowling Green and Otterbein, and I think it's Bowling Green, but I'm not sure where she'll be headed. That's Paulette Vasquez. Junior Anna Godoy wrestled 121 pounds for us. Super quick, super fast, way, way better wrestler than she thinks. And I think as we learn about, she was in multiple tournaments where she was, in positions to beat high-seeded wrestlers, state-ranked wrestlers. What I like about Godoy is and I've had her for a few years in class, she volunteered for that leadership role this spring. She wanted to have a small group to work through training, and she's kind of committed herself to filling in that lineup next year. We've got Wingert and Wallace and Montanella all graduating or returning to home. And so we've got those light middles need to fill in, and she's really wants to step up. That's Anna Godoy. At junior Raina Sauter. Raina was a 160-pounder for us. She was 1 match away from placing at the state tournament and had 9 wins this year. She competed hard. She liked to pretend like she didn't compete hard, but she did. When she was out there in matches, she would battle and really get in there and kind of like slap it around a little bit and hand fight. I do feel that Raina could be a professional comedian. There was about 3 or 4 times this year, none of them that I can share with anybody, she did something in practice that I was mandated to yell at her for and dole out some sort of sprints, but I was keeping it together to not laugh. I really think she reminds me, she's like, I always think Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And so she said, who's that? And I said, like this rich uptown housewife. And she says, that sounds good. But I think she can make a big jump for senior year. There was a couple wins this year that really tugged at my heartstrings for her, and one of them was up at Lutheran West. Let's move into our sophomores. We have Lexi Simmons. Lexi's a sophomore, 106. She was 6th in the state. Lexi bought completely into what we did with wrestling, running, lifting right from the start. She completely changed her body type and made herself into an athlete. She trained hard all year and battled back from an injury right before state. At the state tournament, she dominated her first round, won her quarterfinal 6-5 on a third period ride out. She held the girl down the entire third period to win 6-5. That girl went on the next week to qualify for the district tournament, and Lexi knocked her out of the placement to place. My favorite Lexi story, in the fall, she said to me, Nicola, wrestling really has its hooks in me bad. How long is this going to last? And I didn't really have the heart to tell her. The good and bad news is that it's probably permanent. So can't wait to see her. We were texting yesterday about next season, and this girl is ready to go. So I'm looking forward to Simmons handling the business that needs to be handled. Sophomore Ida Walters is at 150. After her first summer open mat, I just wasn't sure if we'd see her again. In fact, once we even got into the season, she wrote that her goal was to win 1 match. I mean, she quickly passed that. And we liked what she had, and we felt like she was like right on the cusp of being very competitive. So we asked Noelle Fry to move up from 150 to 160, which, credit to Noelle, was 10 pounds above what she competed at. Noelle only weighed about 51. She moved up to 60 and allowed us to squeeze Ida in. And she still doubted herself, but progressed slowly. And at the state tournament, it all came together. She had 3 big wins, 2 of them over-ranked wrestlers to make the podium and place 6 only as a sophomore. 2 more years for this girl. We're pretty excited about where she's at. We'll move into our freshman, Ayla Caston. I know, big favorite of Coach Tressler. She does not warm up for matches. Why, Coach?
Because you don't warm up for a fight.
You do not warm up for a fight. Ayla does not warm up for matches. She is at 11 wins this year. She has a gyroscope, which means like she's an old gymnast. When she wrestles, and she knows where her body is. So if she's rolling around or in a position, she always knows which way's up. She's so close to being excellent. She's very, very good for a young wrestler. Balanced, athletic, powerful. 3 more excellent years. She had a little bit of a rough time with 111, and I started to feel bad until I walked into practice and homie had ordered a pizza. I found out that she was ordering pizza before Oswalt's 430 practices. So I kind of stopped feeling bad about 111. She's only like 410, so no big deal, right? Macy Carroll. Macy's a 9th grader. Lanky, strong, physical, and tough. Macy's one of those wrestlers that, again, if she can learn to how she can bring her practice level up a little bit, she scrambles very, very well. She's a lot stronger than she looks based on her build. And we were working on some things like chasing the leg and passing the leg. And that's pretty hard to do as a first-year wrestler, and it was starting to come to her really quick. When we get back in that room, I'm looking forward to seeing if she can kind of progress that. Bemi Getafa. Bemi is a freshman 121, only had a couple matches all year. Still attended most practices and was able to draw the last week of the season. She's a lax player. She's athletic. I think she has a good future on the mat, very aggressive. And the last girl that I have to talk about before I pass it off to Coach Ray for a couple girls is Emily McManus. Emily was a freshman 116. She was ranked in the state most of the year. Missed the last month of the season, and she battled back. I know she feels like it hurt her progress, but she's only a freshman. She puts a ton of pressure on herself. And while that might not be a great thing, a lot of times athletes that put that kind of pressure on themselves end up being elite because they want to be successful. They want to be great. A great pinner, super nasty on top. Big fan of Emily McManus. So that's my group. Coach Ray, do you want to talk about your girls?
Yeah, so I got Ashley Graham. Ashley is super nice, always smiling, big smile on her face, always worked hard in her room. Very coachable. Unfortunately, her season was cut short due to injury. One of the biggest things I liked about her is she's probably my favorite national anthem singer. Young, very talented, and I look forward to seeing her in the future. Elena Smith. Elena came to us very late in the season. Super strong, athletic. You know, when she first came in, I was like, oh, man, this girl is really tough. But she always doubted herself. Always. She was just like, well, what should I do? This girl lost to this person, but then beat this one. Somehow she figured out the cycle of how everybody did, which a lot of wrestlers do early in their careers. But she was able to pull it together at the end of the season and pull off a 6th-place finish for us. And she's going to be heading off to Xavier, and hopefully she'll be starting a club team there. And that's Elena Smith.
Cool. Thanks, coaches.
Am I up?
Yes, sir.
All right. I will tell you that I'm actually pretty happy about this whole virtual thing. Those who have been in attendance at the Orange banquets for the last couple of years, I have a tendency to become belligerent and cry, and then it becomes the whole thing. So I'm going to try to stick to the script because it allows me, hopefully, to not be emotional. So, I'm going to start with a person who has shown a lot of leadership, compassion, and understanding during their time at Orange. He has hard conversations with his teammates when no one else would. He's also the same person that last year he saw a classmate walking down the street with a trash bag, and he stayed with that person until another family member was able to come help them out. Great wrestler, but an exceptional person and leader, and that's Kardan Mutai. The next person is an extremely talented wrestler. He hates to run. He loves to eat, but truly one of the nicest, goofiest guys you will meet. He was finally able to find his stride in the last couple of years and become comfortable with who he is, and I look forward to him doing great things, and that is Tristan Blunchley. The next guy is a really hard worker. We just try to keep him healthy, and that's sophomore Peyton Frazier. The next guy has grown tremendously as a wrestler in the last couple years. But more importantly, we've seen him grow as a leader and a teammate. He works hard all the time and has really begun to bond with his teammates. I'm very excited to see what the next year holds for him, and that is Jeffrey Kaminsky. And Jeffrey has allowed us in the last couple of years to finally show moves on him after he wouldn't freshman year. So, because he was afraid we were, trying to show him something else. So, the next guy that I have is an extremely large athlete. We got to see his growth as a wrestler, athlete, and person throughout this season. I know if he continues to put the work in the classroom, the weight room, and the wrestling room, there's a bright future ahead of him, and that is Connor Kemmerling. I got to meet this guy 5 years ago at the Wrestle for Autism tournament. And since then, he has grown as a wrestler, but he has grown into an excellent young person. He has grown into a leader of this team. He has taken on the hard task of holding teammates accountable and giving rides to the younger guys when they need one. He is paying it forward to help those teammates who need it. I am excited what the future holds for him, and that is Ian Kreider. The next guy I have is a first-year wrestler. He worked extremely hard in the weight room. He had to, as he was the lightest guy in the room, so everyone was bigger than him. However, that did not stop him from pushing himself and going against teammates, sometimes 30 or 40 pounds heavier. He never complained. He always worked hard. I am sure with some more time in the weight room and on the wrestling mat, we will see exciting things from him in the next 3 years, and that is Diego Noria. The next one is a freshman. This guy took everything that we threw at him this year and kept coming back. He was always stuck in some of the toughest groups in practice and one of the toughest weight classes. When he was given the opportunity to compete on the varsity level, he jumped at the chance, even if the results were not always what he expected. He kept coming back, working harder, every time he improves as a wrestler and a person. I'm excited what he will do the next 3 years with more work in the weight room and on the wrestling mat, and that is Leighton Sayer. This guy made huge strides this year as a wrestler, but he made bigger strides as a person. He surrounded himself with the right people on and off the mat. He began to push himself to be the best version of himself. He's an extremely hard worker who never accepts the easy route and is always willing to work harder to get where he wants to go, and that is Connor Savannah. The next wrestler I have is an extremely quiet wrestler. I can probably count on one hand how many times he said anything to me this year, but he's always working hard in the room. If we can continue to get him to work hard in the weight room, the classroom, and in the wrestling room, hopefully we'll continue to get him up and we can be excited what he could do the next 3 years, and that is Donovan Ware. The next guy I have, unfortunately, had his season cut short. He's one of the strongest workers we've ever had in the wrestling room and in the weight room. Because of an injury, he was unable to compete this year. But his work ethic, he is going to be extremely successful in life, and that is Alex Lopez. One of the next wrestlers I have is a very strong wrestler who came to us from Pennsylvania. He has a lot of opportunity for a great senior year. We just have to keep him healthy and get him on the wrestling mat a little bit more, and that is Justin Way. And one more senior, an extremely hard-working, intelligent wrestler who had some of the best nosebleeds I have ever seen. Unfortunately, his senior season was cut short because of injuries, but anyone who scores a perfect on their ACT, their best days are ahead of them, and that is Nick Schoenleb. Coach Daugherty, you're up.
Yeah, cool. All right, so I just wanted to thank really all the coaches, the wrestlers, and the parents for welcoming me into the program with open arms. You know, you can probably ask Coach Tressler. He came to my room one afternoon and kind of asked if I wanted to help out, and I think he could see the hesitation on my face. In my 7 years of coaching, I've always been a football and track only guy, so taking on a third sport to me seemed like a pretty daunting task. However, I just cannot get over how fun I had this year, how welcoming it was. It feels like I've known these coaches, wrestlers, and parents for years, and really it's only been for a couple months. So I just wanted to thank all you guys for welcoming me onto the team. All right, so my first wrestler I got Brandon Fedio. Brandon is a first-year wrestler, but you would have never known it by watching him towards the end of the year. Brandon is just a flat-out athlete, competitor, and I think he made more progress in 1 year of wrestling than I've ever seen. I mean, it was pretty remarkable from where he came in and where he left, and that was just after 1 year. And if he gets, he's gonna keep hitting the weight room. He's going to keep getting better. He's a hungry kid. He's going to be doing some big things by his senior year. I got Cole James in. Coached Cole James in football this past year, and he left the season with a hip injury, and that kind of followed him into the wrestling season. So he started off kind of slow and had to really do some rehab and work himself back onto the mat. Cole James, it was just for his age. I mean, he's a freshman, and if you saw him, you wouldn't know it. He's a big, strong kid, but he's a great kid to have on the team. He made sure his presence was felt in the wrestling room, and whenever he went to a tournament, and he's going to have a really, really bright future moving forward. Next wrestler I got Cole Chevalier. Cole competes and he gets results. He was one of the easiest kids to coach at JV tournaments. Sometimes I just sit in the chair and let him do his thing. He's one of those kids where I think yelling things out to him. He's kind of like, Coach, he had his idea of what he wanted to do and he was going to do it. But he's also another freshman, and again, by looking at him, you wouldn't know it. He's a big, strong kid, and he's going to have a bright future. My next guy, Jack Evans. Jack Evans, another one of my football kids, big, strong dude, naturally gifted. I mean, I remember one of the first liftings I saw was for a freshman football lifting, and I was watching Jack doing some benching and squatting, and I was like, man, this kid's strong. Who is that? And so he's a strong kid. He's the ultimate teammate. He's always going to be working hard. He's pretty quiet, but he's going to do his thing. He's going to give you his best effort. And if he's got a kid across from him, he's going to try to beat him up. I got Jesse Gooman. Jesse has all the physical tools. He was really fun and easy to coach. He was a joy to have with the team. I can't wait to see him grow in the sport as he gets more experience and gets in the weight room and kind of finds himself there. But he's a great kid. He was another one of those kids who he was in a tough weight class. So when he was at practices, he was usually wrestling some really tough kids. When we went to tournaments, he was wrestling some really tough kids, and he put up a fight and never quit. My next guy's Jackson Nelson. Jackson's a growing leader on the team. He's a sophomore, I believe a second-year wrestler. And he was always striving to get better and learn. He was one of those kids that you knew he was going to be trying new things in practice. Anything we showed the kids, he was always taking it, trying to use it, trying to learn how to set it up. He'd call coaches over, hey, he'd ask for help, and that's a really big thing. It's called coachability. But I think with more experience and more time in the weight room, Jackson's got a really bright future ahead of him in multiple sports. My next guy is Kevin Tu. Kevin Tu. First-year wrestler, another one of those, and another first-year wrestler where if you would have seen him by the end of the year, you would have no idea he was a first-year wrestler. He made an incredible jump from his first match to his first win to the end of the year. Watching that kid grow and learn and just get further and further along in matches, it was awesome to watch. It was one of those things where I was sitting in the chair and I remember after his first win, it was like nothing to him. And I was like, "Was that your first win?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "What?" It was a really exciting moment. And I think he knows that if he puts in the time and the effort, gets in the weight room, and sticks with us, he's going to be pretty dang good. My next wrestler is a freshman, Alex Wong. He's got an incredibly bright future. Kid is super athletic, has an incredible competitive drive. He's one of those kids. He hates losing, and when you find some of the best athletes in the world, there's two types of people. There's the people who love winning and the people who hate losing. And a lot of times those top athletes are the people that just hate losing, and he's one of those guys. So he's going to be good. He's going to gain more experience. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get faster. He's going to get more explosive. And by his senior year, he's going to be a pretty tough guy to take down. And then my last guy, sophomore, just big goofball, but one of the hearts of your team, Jason Graff. He's another young wrestler. He's hungry for results. He was one of those kids that also was always asking for coaches for help. How do I set this up? How do I do this? What should I do if a guy does this? So that's again being coachable and wanting to get better. He was an absolute joy on the team. His teammates love him. You can always count on him to give you his best. He didn't always know what move to use, how to use it, or how to set it up. But by the end of the season, I think he'd found a few things that he liked, and he kind of put them in his repertoire. And he's, again, one of those kids that is the more time he spends in the weight room and the more time he spends, getting better and taking practice seriously, I think he's going to be pretty good by the end of his senior year. And that's all my guys, my dudes.
All right, so Cole Benjamin. Cole Benjamin's our team prankster, team jokester. First time I met the kid, goes to shake my hand and pulls his hand away. That's pretty much him in a nutshell of how he is. But I'll tell you what, he was a hard drilling partner. Wrestling-wise, his season was cut a little short, so I only got to see him wrestle a few matches. But the matches I did, I was really impressed with the short amount of time he's actually been wrestling. Cole was always up for helping out with the youth program, our One Orange that we've started up, the Crush program. He was always there to help. On a personal note, he was always there to help my son and training him for his state competition coming up. Cole's going to be working hard this summer. He's going to be going to Columbus State for one semester, and then hopefully he'll be going to Newport Apprentice, where I went, and he'll continue wrestling there. Hopefully matures a little bit before he steps up to the grown men, but Cole's a great guy. I'm just going to be sad to see him go. Isaac Campbell. Isaac Campbell is probably one of the most talented athletes I've seen. He is all man in such a short age. He's always there to help us with the kids, also with the Crush program. He stepped into, I think, 3 different weight classes for us this year. Like I said, he's super athletic. Hasn't been wrestling very long, but the wrestling he has is he utilizes pretty well, and he's going to be something to watch here in the next couple of years. Donovan Burns. Donovan Burns has super fun energy. I love being around the kid. He is one of the best at getting himself in great situations on the mat and then immediately putting himself in a bad one. So next year we're going to work on turning that around and turning some of those good situations into big pins for him. He's one of the fun ones to watch. I remember when he got his first victory this year and he came off the mat just so pumped and jacked, and it was fun to see. So we're going to keep working on that. Caden Fellows. Caden Fellows is he's a hard worker. He tries a lot on the mat, and he puts a lot of pressure on himself. And he's one of the ones I tell is like, hey man, you just got to have fun with it. You got to have fun with it. So I think once he gets it turned around that he can do this and he could do it well, I think he's gonna start turning some things around for him. Unfortunately, he got hurt as well this year, so we're gonna have to work with that towards the end of next year. Krish Patel. Krish is a super talented kid. I watched one of his matches this year where he was getting his butt kicked pretty good, pretty handed to him. Came time for the third period, and he put him in some jiu-jitsu move. I don't know even what he did, and he ended up hitting this 6'4" monster. And I was just like, where did that come from? Krish was exciting to watch when he was on the mat. I think if he works as hard as he does wrestling as in practice, then he'll go far. Jackson Robbins. Jackson Robbins is a super fun wrestler. He's always smiling. He's always having fun on and off the mat. He's another talented young guy that we have. The guy's always got a smile on his face, no matter what happens. If he gets pinned or he pins, he's always smiling. So that's Jackson Robbins. That's what I got, guys.
Let's go.
Coach Knapp.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. I want to go a little bit out of order as we have on the sheet, so don't get confused. Okay, so my first wrestler, This wrestler is one of the toughest freshmen I've seen in the Pioneer Wrestling room. He put in a good amount of work in the offseason, and it paid off. He had wins against tough varsity wrestlers and a very hard schedule. I'm excited to see what this freshman does in his next 3 years. This athlete is Luke Berry. Next is another freshman. He is one of those technical freshmen I have seen in the wrestling room, in the Pioneer Wrestling room. His attention to detail has given him a mature skill set that he is always happy to share with his teammates. Unfortunately, he was not able to break into the lineup this year, the varsity lineup this year. However, I look forward to seeing him in the varsity squad in the coming years after he continues to improve his technique and his strength. This wrestler is Logan Butler. This energetic junior has developed a rather unique skill set. His ducks, boot scoots, low singles, and punishing leg rides are always enjoying to watch from the corner and in the stands. He's a hard worker. It is rare to not see him getting extra work in after practice is done for the night. In addition, he's not scared to go up against tough opponents, always giving it his all. He has wrestled some of the toughest opponents in Central Ohio. State champs, state placers, district champs. He's also a team player, doing things like providing thoughtful advice to a teammate who was nervous before district. This wrestler is Dylan Dempsey. My next wrestler, this is another freshman who proved he belonged in the varsity lineup. Although it was always a treat to see him hit his beautiful slide by, it would have been nice to see him take some more shots. He won 2 tournaments this year, the Freshman All-State Tournament and the Varsity Pioneer Classic Memorial. Although it was difficult to watch this season end short due to injury, I look forward to seeing him wrestle in the coming years. This is Idell Ferguson. This wrestler was unable to break into the varsity lineup last year as a freshman. However, he put a lot of hard work to improve his wrestling in the offseason, all the while being a 3-sport athlete. He made big strides in the offseason, but it was difficult to tell where he would be in the mix. When he placed 3rd at Medina, however, it proved to me he had made big strides. He went from being a JV wrestler to becoming a district placer in a year. This athlete is Keegan Knapp. I've watched this athlete since he was in the Crush program, so 8 or 9 years. So I've been watching him for a long time, seeing how he's developed. He's improved so much then as both an athlete and a person. He's a hard worker, and the results between last year and this year show. He's always drilling hard in the room and always looking for extra wrestling workouts. He still has 1 year left, and I think he will go out with a bang. This wrestler is Zach Miller. This is a tough second-year sophomore. He uses his superior strength and positioning to break his opponents. He put in work in the offseason, and as a result, was able to place at the sectional tournament. If he can learn to sprawl pop properly, I imagine we will see him make a name for himself at the district tournament. This wrestler is Will Ramey. This freshman is a tough one. He's very passionate about competition, and it shows in his good attitude about wrestling on and off the mat. He is athletic and can pull off some good throws. This wrestler has high amounts of potential, and I look forward to coaching him in the coming seasons. His name is Joe Rittersbach. This is another freshman, but he is very strong, built like an upperclassman who's been hitting the weight room for years. He's another one of the freshmen in the varsity lineup who endured our competitive schedule. Despite having many very tough opponents, he was always on the offensive with his shots and throws. Most wrestlers, when they hit a throw, they wait for their opponent to apply pressure. This wrestler just picks his opponent straight up into the air and then slams him down. And the only person that could pull that off is Nathan Westinghouse. Although he was a senior, it was this wrestler's first year in our program. Despite being new to the squad, he quickly became a valued member of the team. Early in the season, he wrestled at heavyweight, giving up as much as 70 pounds. However, he was still able to pick up a number of wins using his quick low single. Later, he got cut down to 195 and was key to keeping our upper weights sharp for the postseason. This wrestler's name is Josh Young. Last one. The first time I saw this athlete compete was at an early season tournament at Hilliard that would have been 2018. When I saw him wrestle, I knew he had a lot of fight in him. Unfortunately, he was able to make the varsity lineup that year. But as a senior, he was able to make an impact in the varsity squad despite battling injury and was able to place at the sectional tournament. This senior is Jack Almond. And that is it.
Thanks, coaches. I think before we go on to the next section, I think that you can understand and see as the coaching staff speaks about these young people that there's a connection. It's one of the reasons that why I have the coaching staff pick people. It's the kids that they connected with. And, you can see that special connection here when they speak about them. It's the kids that they've helped grow as, not just athletes and as wrestlers, but as people. And I think that's the exciting thing that you see when they speak about them. The group that I'm going to talk about is a group that doesn't get enough appreciation, and that's our wrestling stats. Juliana Hendez, Emily Parker, Hallie Wharton, Alyssa Jackson, Carly Felchlin, Reagan Ridnour. These young ladies are rock stars. They ride the bus, they come in early, they stay late, they cheer as loud as anyone else, and they don't take the wrestlers' crap. Why? Because they care about the wrestlers and they care about this team. We would not have the same success we have without this hardworking group. I feel truly lucky that we have a group of people willing to put in their time to help us be a part of one Olentangy Orange Wrestling family. At this time, I would like to call up the girls' varsity captains, Anna Grabow, Alyssa Wallace, and Taryn Martin, to present their Captain's Award.
So the Captain Award goes to Noelle Fry, and that's because she was very motivational, encouraging all throughout practice, and never let me take a break and was constantly pushing me to be better.
Yeah, I thought she deserved the award because she has brought up the team so much. She's been so motivational to everybody on the team and really just lifts everybody up when we're going through something hard and just helps us all out.
She also was the responsible one. Even when she didn't say anything, her actions always led to the positive attitudes of everyone and pushed us to work harder.
At this time, I'd like to call up the boys' varsity leaders, Ian Kreider, Jack Allman, Zach Miller, and Keegan Knapp, to present their Captain's Award.
Hey guys, this is your Orange Wrestling boys captains, and we're here to present the Captain's Award. And so this award is basically, we give it to a wrestler that, exemplifies everything that we want out of an Orange wrestler, on the mat, off the mat, everything. So the person we chose this year, we chose him for many reasons. And one of them was just because every day, a lot of us have days where we don't want to be there at practice or at a match. And this kid just never has those days. Every day he comes, he's given 100%. And it's almost robotic how just go, go, go he is.
Right. This person went from JV to a district placer all in the matter of a year, worked his butt off to get there. And honestly, it showed.
Yeah, this person was always prepared for the match. He was never nervous before it. He's always getting ready. He didn't look scared ever. I never saw him look intimidated by the opponent or anything.
And also this person in the classroom is a very good student, and he always was one of the members of the team who was always pushing himself in the classroom, off the mat, and he was always focused on wrestling. Even when he wasn't in the room, he was always constantly watching videos, trying to get better every moment he could.
And, with all those things, it's kind of a clear answer that we wanted to give the Captain's Award to Jeff Kaminsky. So congrats to Jeff, and keep doing what you're doing, man. We're really excited to see what you can do next year.
The Delk Award is the next award that we'll be issuing. The Delk Award is given to the person who is an extremely hard worker. They work to be successful on and off that mat, but may not necessarily have the most top-end success as far as wins and losses. The Delk Award this year has been awarded to Luke Berry and Alyssa Wallace. The next award is the most wins. This award goes to whomever has the most victories on the wrestling mat. The most wins award goes to Taryn Martin and Keegan Knapp. Most improved. This award is given to the person who has improved the most either over a single season or over a career. The most improved award goes to Ida Walters and Ian Kreider. The Pioneer Award is one of the awards that's special. It's not an MVP award. It's the award given to the person who personifies your program, not just on the wrestling mat, but in the classroom, as a person, all the time. And the persons that have been awarded the Pioneer Award this year are Taryn Martin and Ian Kreider.
So additionally, all OCC recognition, second team, all OCC, Luke Berry, Zach Miller, Ian Kreider. First team all OCC, Keegan Knapp, Dylan Dempsey, Kardan Mutai. Scholar athletes go to Jack Allman and Anna Grabow. All Metro girls. These are the top girls at each weight class in Central Ohio, voted on by the coaches. Taryn Martin was named All Metro Wrestler of the Year. Natalia Muntanalo was on the team. Taryn Martin, Anna Grabow, and Talia Mitchell. The Olentangy Orange Wrestling coaching staff emphasized Coaching Nicola and Coach Oswalt were recognized as Coaches of the Year. The Girls Super 8, which is the This Week newspaper, picked top 8 girls in the metro area. Taryn Martin was named Wrestler of the Year, and the Olentangy Orange coaching staff and Coach Nicola and Coach Oswalt were emphasized as Coach of the Year. Academic All Ohio, these are student athletes who either qualified for the state tournament for males or placed for females and have a 3.5 GPA or higher. Anna Grabow and Noel Fry both were recognized as Academic All Ohio.
Senior class 2020. As a coaching staff, we took on the task of having a full varsity boys and girls team this year. But that goal would not have happened without these young people. They took on the task of being leaders to their colleagues, but most especially, they took on the tougher task of being pioneers in the sport of wrestling. These young people showed that through patience, understanding, and cooperation, equal opportunities can exist for everyone in the sport of wrestling. The ladies showed how empowered and tough they are when given the same opportunities to compete. And the guys showed that welcoming new teammates in and can lead to personal and overall team growth. I want to say thank you to the class of 2020. You showed Orange High School, the state of Ohio, and the country with enough respect, understanding, and compassion for one another, we can all help each other reach our goals. You are leaving our program in a better place than when you arrived. Thank you for helping grow the Orange Wrestling family. To the returning wrestlers, we have found out today our facilities will be closed till July 1st. Try to find ways to get workouts in. Running, average 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 50 pull-ups a day. When extra places open up, make sure that you go to Moran's, Palmer's, Junior Olympics, freestyle, Greco, tournaments. Those are all the opportunities that you have. If you want to be great, you find a way to get training opportunities, even in this very difficult time. Last thing, for everyone, I implore you to find a way. Find a way to train. Find a way to work out. Find a way to lead. Find a way to help those who can't help themselves. Find a way to make our Orange Wrestling better this year. And find a way to help anyone who's willing to help themselves.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain. When I believed in forever and everything would stay the same. Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name. 'Cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know I will one day. Hey. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Hey, hey. But everything gon' be alright. Go and raise a glass and say, hey. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back you. Do, 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 do. Memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost. When I felt all of the hatred was too powerful to stop. Now my heart feel like an ember, and it's lighting up the dark. I'll carry these torches for you, that you know I'll never drop. Yeah. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Hey, hey. Everything gon' be alright. Go and raise a glass and say, hey. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back you. Do, 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 do. Memories bring back you. Oh, oh. Memories bring back you. Ooh, oh. Memories bring back you.